I never liked her boss. Don't get me wrong, I didn't know him personally, but I had heard stories. Everybody had. In a city like Abuja, news travels fast, especially when it involves a rich, handsome man who thinks he owns the world. His name was Mr. Chuka. People called him the collector because he collected women like some people collect watches or cars. It didn't matter who the lady was, student, worker, even a married woman, if she was careless. If he saw her and liked what he saw, his driver would pull over, and he would make his move. And because he had money, plenty of it, most women followed him without hesitation. But not my friend, Janet. Janet worked for him as a housekeeper. She wasn't the type of girl you'd notice right away. She didn't wear makeup or fancy clothes. Her hair was always tucked in an old scarf, and most times, she looked tired. But if you really paid attention, you'd see she was beautiful. Not just beautiful, she was strong. I remember how she used to complain to me about her job. Not because of the work itself, but because of the things she had to clean. Chioma, she told me one night, her voice low over the phone, if you see the kind of things I pick up in this man's house today, you will not believe it. Condoms, lipstick stains, perfume-scented clothes left behind by women who thought they were special. Every day, a new lady. And every day, Janet would watch them walk in with high hopes and leave with broken hearts. She tried to warn some of them. A man who truly values you will not treat you like an object, she would tell them while cleaning up after their mess. But nobody listened. Why would they? In their eyes, she was just a maid. What did she know? One day, Janet did something I never thought she would do. She stood up to him. It happened after he brought home 3 different women in 1 week. She was tired of cleaning, tired of watching women get used, and tired of holding her tongue. "Sir," she said quietly while serving his dinner, "this lifestyle, it will destroy you one day. You are not a young boy anymore. You need to think about your health." I laughed when she told me. I mean, who talks to their billionaire boss like that? But she was serious. She wasn't being rude. She was genuinely worried about him. But men like Chuka don't like being corrected. He fired her on the spot. Just like that. No notice. No second chance. Janet called me that night in tears. "Chioma, what will I do? My father is sick, and I need this job." I was angry. Angry that a man with so much could be so heartless. But I told her to beg him, if not for herself, then for her father. And she did. The next morning, she went back, knelt on the cold marble floor of his mansion, and begged for her job. He gave it back, but not without a warning. "You can keep your job," he said, "but never interfere in my life again." I didn't know it then, but everything was about to change. A week later, it was my birthday. I had planned a small party, nothing too big, just a few friends, food, and music. Janet had promised to come since it was a Saturday and she does not work on weekends, but she forgot her shoes at her boss's house as she left on Friday night. She decided to stop by, on her way to the party, to pick them up. When she walked into the living room that day, everything shifted. Chuka was sitting there, drinking his usual glass of whiskey, in the company of his friend. But when he saw Janet, dressed up for my party, wearing a fitted gown that hugged her curves. He froze. For the first time, he actually saw her. "Shebi, I told you to stop interfering in my life," he joked when he caught her staring back at him, wondering why he focused his gaze on her. But this time, his voice was different. Softer. When she got to the party, she couldn't stop talking about how strange he acted. "It's like he didn't know I was a woman until today," she said, laughing. He was speechless, like someone who had seen a ghost. But that laugh didn't last long. By Monday, things got weird. Chuka started calling her into his bedroom for no reason. He would watch her closely when she moved around the house. One evening, he sat her down and, with that arrogant smile of his, said, "Janet, how much will it take for you to spend a night with me?" Drawing closer to her, he tried kissing her. She was so angry, she slapped him, forgetting that he was her boss. He smiled and offered her 500,000 naira, hoping that she would be interested, seeing that she was from poor background. But Janet was not like all these girls that love flashy things. Instead, she quit. Right there. She packed her things and left without looking back. I was proud of her, but also scared. Jobs aren't easy to find. And with her father's medical bills piling up, how was she going to cope? Chuka, on the other hand, didn't take her rejection well. He could not believe that such girls existed. He has always thought that every girl out there loves money and would do anything to have some. He has always used his money as a weapon to treat them bad, convincing himself that they deserved it. For weeks, he was a mess. His friends stopped coming around because he wasn't fun anymore, and he stopped going to hang out with them because he realized he wants better for himself. The women who used to throw themselves at him, the ones he maltreated, the ones he used to satisfy his sexual cravings. He ignored them all and stopped taking their calls. Something had changed in him. The man was obsessed. One day, he showed up at her house. Imagine it, Mr. Big Man in his shiny black Jeep, stepping into our dusty street. I was there when it happened. He didn't come with pride that day. He came with worry. "I'm not here to play games," he said quietly. "I want you back, not as my worker. As my woman." Janet wasn't impressed. She told him to live with his overused manhood. I chuckled. My friend was not playing, she was serious. But fate had its own plan. Before he could muster the courage to leave, her father collapsed. It was bad. Too bad. If Chuka hadn't been there to rush him to the hospital, I don't know if he would have survived. At the hospital, he paid all the bills, quietly. No bragging. No conditions. And after that day, he kept coming back. Not just to beg for Janet's love, but to visit her father as well, since she was making it very difficult for him to win her heart. Even when she ignored him, he stayed and chatted with her father, who has taken a liking to him. And maybe that's what changed her mind. It took time, weeks, maybe months. After so much persuasions from her father, begging her to forgive him, consider how he had helped them and find a way to make things work. One day, she went to see him. And when she came back, there was a ring on her finger. He went down on one knee, asked me to marry him, she said softly, still in shock. And I said yes. If you had told me a year ago that Mr. Chuka, the same man who couldn't remember a woman's name, would fall for my humble, soft-spoken friend, I would have laughed. But love does strange things to people. Sometimes, it takes meeting the right person to make you see the truth. And as for Janet, she didn't just change her life. She changed his. And that's a love story worth telling. If you love this story, kindly subscribe to encourage us to do more. Comment, like and also share to friends and family. Thank you.